Hi, in last video we have seen how we can fetch the user profile data. In this video we are going to see how we can edit the same data. So before going to start, please like and subscribe my channel. So let's start. So if you remember up to this point we have already did in last video. But here I want to do little bit modification. So first go to the VS Code and here go to the user profile.html page, and here I want to modify it little bit. For example, if you see here, this 2 days ago, I don't want this one. So simply copy this one and paste here. Control S, then come here, refresh, I'll come here, and here I have did little bit changes. Previously it was 3, right now I have updated as a 1. So based on your requirement, you can modify it. So as I told you, in this particular video, we are going to see how we can edit this user profile data, but I don't want to allow to edit entire things. I only want to allow the address, city, state, because this first name, last name, username, and email ID, I don't want to be allowed to change. So let's see how we can do. So after clicking on edit profile, it should redirect to another page. There we can change the details like address name we can change, city we can change, and state we can change. Such type of functionality I want to develop. So go to the VS Code, and in that go to the userprofile.html page. And here, after clicking here, it should give option to update or edit that user detail. So how we can do? So first of all, we have to write the view for this update profile function. Then second, we have to write the URL. Then third, we have to create the one HTML page where we can render the data and where we can modify that one. So let's see step by step how we can do. So let's start. First, go to the use.py file, and here we have to write the view function. So first I'm writing comment, and here update underscore profile. Then def is the keyword to define any function. Then function name update underscore profile. Then default parameter request, and one more thing, like we are going to update a user profile, so we have to specify like primary key for that profile, because because our user profile model have a multiple profile of different users, so we have to specify the ID also. So for that only I'm taking primary key pk, and this pk value we will provide from the URL. So don't be worried like what is the pk. So pk is nothing but the primary key, which is we are going to be passed through the URL. Then come down. After that, I want to perform the same thing, like if the request.user is authenticated, then only I want to perform the rest of the operation. Come here, then come down. So if the request.user is authenticated, so if the request.user is authenticated, so what I want to do, simply copy this line. Don't worry, I will explain you what I'm doing. And try to maintain the indentation. So if the request.user is authenticated, I have taken one variable profile data. You can take any variable, it's up to you. Then what I'm doing, from user profile dot objects dot, in place of filter, I'm going to use the get, because I want to get only one record. So if you want to fetch only one record, so you have to use the get condition. So from user profile, this user profile is nothing but the model name. And dot objects dot get what I want to get. So I want to get ID which is equals to PK. And this PK is nothing but this one, and this PK value we are going to provide from the URL. And this ID is nothing but the, I don't know whether I have told you or not, whenever you are going to create any model, so each and every model have their ID value for each record. So don't be confused, like ID is from where ID is coming. So ID is the inbuilt column which is always going to be present if you are going to create any model. So all the model have one primary key by default provided by the Django, which is nothing but the ID only. So from user profile dot object, I want to get the ID number, and this ID number I'm going to provide from the URL. So that only. Then come down. So I'm taking one more variable form equals to, then which one you want to see. If you want to edit something, then you have to create one HTML page where you can first load the data and then you can modify that data. So if you remember, we have created one form. The form is nothing but this one, user profile form. So I'm going to use the same form, like I will load this form and render over the HTML page, and there user can change the details and save this one. So simply copy this one. And why I'm using this user profile form? Because I want to modify the data of the user profile only. Because of that only I'm using the same form. Simply copy this one and come here, then paste. Then inside the bracket, dot post or none, comma. So either it's a post or null, I don't care. After that, what I want, see, if I'm clicking on edit, so it should redirect to another page, and after redirecting to another page, it should display the old data. Then only you can change there. So to display the already present data, we have instance equals to what instance you want. So I want to load or display the instance of this particular record, and that particular record we are storing in this one. Simply copy this one and paste here. That's it. Then come down. If this form is underscore valid, curly round bracket. So if the form is valid, then form dot save. And after save, I want to display the message. So simply copy this line and come here and paste. And here you can write message whatever you want to display. So for example, I want to display profile updated successfully. So this kind of message I want to display after the form is saved. And after displaying this message, I want to redirect to the profile page. So what is the syntax for that? Simply copy this one, return, redirect this one and paste here. And as I told you, I want to redirect to the profile page. So you have to write the URL name of the profile page. Come here in the urls.py file and copy this one. Then come here and paste here. That's it. Control S. Then we have to write the else condition. If the user is not authenticated, then copy this one and paste here. So I hope we are clear with this view. Like I'm repeating again what we have did. First, I have taken one view, update profile. Then here default parameter request, and this PK is nothing but the ID, which is we are going to pass through the URL. So time being, don't focus on this one. Then I'm checking if the request.user is authenticated, means if the user is logged in with correct credential. Then what I'm doing, I have taken one variable and this from user profile dot object dot get particular record. Which record? The record which is I want to be change or edit or update. After that, I have taken one variable form. Then user profile form is nothing but the form which is we have already created in the forms.py file. Then come here. Either it's a request is the post or null. Then instance equals to profile data. This I'm using this instance equals to profile data. It means when I'm clicking on edit, and the next page is going to be open, their previous data should be already present. Because of that only I have written instance equals to profile data. And this profile data is nothing but the record which is we are going to be changed. After that, I'm checking if the form is valid. If all the data in the form is valid, then form.save. After saving, I want to display the message like profile updated successfully. And after that, I want to redirect to the profile page again. And if it is not authenticated user, then it should be like you must have to log in to see the profile. That's it. Or not see the profile, update profile to update profile, Control S. So we have successfully created the view. Here we have forgot to add one more line. See, if form equals to user profile form and request.post, this condition is satisfying. And if it is coming here and the form is the valid, then this thing is going to be happen. But what it is not a post. Come here. At that time, I want to return render, then here default parameter request, then where I want to render this form. So I want to render this form in the update underscore profile.html page. Then along with what data I want to render. So I want to render with this form. So simply you have to pass this value in the dictionary form. Then again form. See, here you can give any key, but the value should be this one only. Control S. So the next step, we have to create the URL. Then go to the urls.py file here. Simply copy this one. 1 second. Yeah, paste here. Then here, you can give any URL pattern, but name should be meaningful. So because of that, only I'm giving update underscore profile. Then simply copy this one and paste here. Then come here, then you have to copy the view name and again come here. Here we have to specify the view name. That's it. Control S. But as I told you, we are going to pass the ID through the URL. For that, we have a special syntax. So take this int pk. This pk only we have defined, we have written here, and the value is coming from this here. And don't worry, like might be people think from where this value comes. So I will tell you, don't worry. So this is the syntax to create the URL along with the ID. So here you have to specify the pattern, then slash, then int, then pk. Here you can give any name like X, Y, Z, anything. But the same thing you have to pass here. And again here also. So keep in mind, whatever value you are giving here, the same thing you have to pass here and here. That's it. So we have created the view, we have created the URL. So the next things we have to pass this value for URL. See, this PK value we have to pass. So from where we can pass. So if you remember, wait, first of all, let me save, then go to the user profile. See, this edit profile is the button where we are going to be click, and after that, it should redirect to that particular page where we can update the details. So here we have to add the URL of the update function. So what is the URL? And first of all, what is the syntax? So curly bracket, then double percentage, then here URL, then in single quote, you have to specify the URL here. So in my case, it's a update profile. Then here you have to pass the value for this PK. If you see here, this PK. So whatever things we are going to write here, the same thing is going to be passed there. So as I told you, I want to pass the ID. So that ID from where it's coming. So as I told you, each and every model have inbuilt ID column. So what is the syntax? So see, profile.address going to be give address, profile.data going to be give this city, profile data.state going to be give this state detail. So same thing, whatever we have taken here, simply copy this one and paste here dot ID. So it will going to be return the ID, and the same thing going to be passed here. So this is how we can pass ID from URL to the any function. Come here. Most of the people are not like getting how these things is working. So let me tell you one thing. One sec. If we come here, only to clearly explain you, I'm doing these things. Otherwise, it is not required. Then here it should be ID. Control S. Then come here. Let me refresh. We are getting some error. Invalid syntax. If form is valid, line number 90, 1 second. Use.qi file, line number 90. Here we have did one mistake. If form dot is valid, sorry for that. Then come here, let me refresh. Yeah. But that ID is not showing here. 1 second. Go to the user profile. And this should be ID. See, ID equals to 3. So it is already there. The only things we have not list down there. So what we have did, I want to update. So while we are going to update, we have to pass the value, like which we have to pass the ID also, like which record you want to update. So that value is nothing but the ID. So the same thing, whatever is there, the same thing I have passed here. So either if you are returning here or not, it is not a mandatory, but when you are passing, you have to specify like this. So whatever things you have taken here, that one, then ID, and ID is nothing but the already inbuilt provided by the Django. So Control S. So we have passed the ID, and this is the URL name, and this is the ID which or value which is going to be passed. See, come here. This is the URL path, and this is the value which is we are going to get from there, and the same thing going to be passed here in the form of PK. Then that PK is going to be assigned again to the ID, and again it is going to be filter the same record. So this is how it's working. Then we have to create one more HTML page to render that data. So let's create. Come here. Right click, then new file, then update underscore profile dot html, and this should be in capital. See, either capital or small, it's up to you. So based on your requirement, you can use either capital or small. For all the HTML pages, if you see, I have given the naming convention, like the first one is capital. So because of that only, I have written like this. So I have created one update underscore profile HTML. Then again, I have to inherit all the base page details. So what you can do, go to any page and simply copy and come here and paste. Then remove unwanted things. Control S. And let me rename this one. I don't want these things. In place of login, for example, I want save. And for example, yeah, let it be secondary only. And I don't want this kind of things. And I don't want any URL also. Yeah, Control S. Come to the update underscore profile here. The same thing I have passed here. Whatever things we have written here in the key, the same thing I'm passing here. Control S. Then come here. Let me refresh. Yeah. Click on edit profile. See, after clicking on edit profile, the data is already loaded. Whatever data we have previously, wait, I will show you. For example, address double app. So come here, show profile, address double app. So if you are clicking on edit profile, see, same thing is showing here. And why this data is already loaded? Because if you see here, we have written this one statement, this one, instance equals to profile data. Because of this instance only, the data is already loaded here. So for example, address equals to Mumbai. And city equals to Kalyan, or state also I'm changing for Maharashtra. Save. Profile updated successfully. And if you see here, address Mumbai, city Kalyan, state Maharashtra. And if I'm clicking again on edit profile, for example, here I'm changing UP. Then let me save, see, UP. So this is how you can edit, or you can say you can update the user profile data. So I am repeating again what we have did. Come here. First of all, we have created one function. What is the function? Simply the function we have created. We have given the name update profile and request default parameter, and PK is nothing but the ID, which is record, which is we are going to be update. So I'm checking in the request dot user is authenticated. If the condition is true, so that only I'm taking one variable, and from user profile, this user profile is nothing but the model. And from this model, I want to fetch the particular record. Which record you want to fetch? So I want to fetch the record, which is I'm going to provide from the URL. And after that, I have created one form. Then form equals to user profile. This user profile form is nothing but the form which is we have already created here. So I'm using the same form. And here I have written if the request.post or none, instance equals to profile data. And if this form is valid, perform this operation. And if it is not, then simply come here and perform this operation. And else, this one, you must have to log in to update the profile. After that, we have created one URL. In URL, up to this point, I hope you already clear. And this is the new thing. So this is the way how you can provide any ID to the along with the URL. So you have to provide like this. And the same thing we have did. Come to the user profile here. See, this update underscore profile is nothing but the URL, and this profile data dot ID is nothing but the record or ID number which is we want to update. After that, we have created one form, or you can say HTML page, to render that data. And at last, our things is working. So I hope you clear with this things, like how we can edit the data. So thank you so much for watching this video, and please like and subscribe my channel. Bye.